Welcome to the channel. I'm a doctor. I've seen things that don't always fit into textbooks, moments that no protocol can prepare you for. Some of these stories are my own. Others were shared with me by colleagues, nurses, paramedics, people who, like me, carry the weight of these moments long after the shift ends. They say some patients don't come to be cured. They come to die. As doctors, we know it. Sometimes from the very moment they walk through the door. That was the case with Teresa. She was 63 years old, stage 4 ovarian cancer. And a gaze so calm it felt almost out of place in a hospital full of chaos. From the beginning, she made one thing clear. She didn't want treatment. No chemotherapy. No surgery. Not even strong painkillers. Just a quiet room and as little disturbance as possible. I don't want to fight anymore, she said. Not now. Oh. She didn't say it with sadness. She said it with a kind of peace that was unsettling, as if she'd already made her peace. As if she'd closed every chapter that mattered. She came alone. No visitors, no family. No one calling to ask how she was. When we offered to help her reach out to someone, anyone, she just shook her head. There's no one. And with that we knew. This was her choice, her ending. Mary, the nurse on duty, tried to earn her trust. She chatted while checking vitals, told little jokes, even brought her homemade chamomile tea. But Teresa was polite, distant. She didn't open up. 2 days passed like that. Silence, resignation, a strange calm, until one quiet morning. New patient arrived in the room next door. He was a young man, maybe 30, 32, pale, soaked in cold sweat, and gasping for breath like every inhale was a battle. His friends stayed close, anxious, refusing to leave his side even as we hooked him up to oxygen. Advanced pneumonia, a high fever, 39.8 degrees Celsius, and a history of asthma that made everything more dangerous. Dry cough, chest pain, total exhaustion. It was one of those cases where you have to move fast. As Mary entered his details into the system, she paused and commented casually. Funny, same last name as the woman next door. Funny coincidence, just a throwaway line, small talk during a long shift. I didn't think twice about it. It wasn't an unusual surname in this region, but someone else did. Teresa was sitting on her bed across the wall. I was checking her vitals. She looked like she was daydreaming out the window. But I saw the moment it hit her, her back straightened, her shoulders lost that relaxed curve. Her gaze froze, not on anything real, but somewhere far away. The silence grew thick. You could feel the air shift. Then, almost in a whisper, she asked, "What's his name?" Mary, still focused on the chart, replied without much thought, "I can't give you that. Patient privacy. But he does share your last name." Teresa didn't flinch. As I said, the name wasn't rare. But something in her face changed. Not surprise, discomfort, tension. Like a shadow had crept into the room. Then something strange happened. The woman who didn't want interruptions suddenly asked, "Can you leave my door open?" Mary blinked. "Are you sure?" Teresa, still staring out the window, nodded. A few minutes passed. Stillness, until suddenly the door next door opened. The young man's friend stepped out quickly, probably to grab papers or coffee. And from inside the room, we heard a voice. "Hey, don't forget the charger, man. I'm stuck in here for days." Just a simple sentence, spoken casually, almost playfully, voice still carrying its humor despite the fever. But when that voice echoed into the hallway, Teresa stopped. Completely. She didn't move, didn't speak. Just slowly raised her head like someone hearing something they weren't ready for, but knew all too well. Her eyes widened, fixed on the door. On the place the voice had come. For Mary noticed it first. "Are you okay?" she asked. But Teresa didn't answer. She murmured something instead. Barely audible, that voice, she heard it again, not just in the hall, but in her head, in her memories. In moments she had tried to bury that voice. I know it. And suddenly her face changed completely. No more uncertainty. No more guessing. Just a cold, terrifying clarity. It's him. It's David. She closed her eyes. Not from exhaustion, but like someone flinching from a truth they've avoided too long. I was standing right in front of her. I saw her jaw tremble, her hands once resting calmly, now clenched tightly together. "Does he have family?" she asked. "More to herself than to us," Mary replied. "He came with a friend. Seems like he's alone." Teresa didn't say another word. But she wasn't the same. We finished the checkup in silence. She didn't go back to looking out the window. She just sat there, eyes open, but trapped in a storm no one else could. See? She didn't eat that day. Didn't ask for anything. Not even her tea. Her body said nothing, but everything about her screamed something had shifted. I didn't know their story yet, but I knew without a doubt they were tied by something far deeper than coincidence, and that name, David. Not just a young man with pneumonia. That name had just unlocked a door Teresa had spent years trying to keep closed. A door creaking with the weight of the past, of guilt left unspoken, choices that leave a mark forever. That night, Teresa didn't sleep. The next morning, she asked for her medical file, asked for sedatives, and asked something that surprised us. "Is it too late to try palliative chemo?" I was taken aback. I reminded her gently. "Teresa, it's not curative. The cancer's too far gone." She nodded, calm, unafraid. "I know. I don't need years. I just need a little more time." And right there I realized I hadn't given up. She was about to fight her final battle, because people don't say that unless something is still unresolved, unless they have unfinished business. That afternoon I saw her writing. Her hand shook, but she kept going. Every word deliberate, heavy, like each one mattered more than the last. Hours later, she called us over, held out a small folded piece of paper. "Can you give this to the young man next door?" It was a letter. She didn't say what it contained. "Only one thing. Don't tell him it's from me. Just give it to him." Mary hesitated. Did I wear doctors? Not messengers of fate. But when we looked in Teresa's eyes, we saw something stronger than her illness, something we couldn't ignore. That night, David asked to speak with her. He said he had read something that didn't make sense. Something that stirred more questions than answers. "Can I talk to her? I need to know if it's true." When he stepped into Teresa's room, he froze, like the air had thickened around him, and she did the same. Their eyes met. And for several long seconds, no one said a word. Then finally, her voice broke the silence. "I thought you'd never look at me again." David swallowed hard, took a step closer. "I thought you'd never try to find me." And right then we understood. Everything. They weren't strangers. They were mother and son. David was the child she had left behind years ago. The letter explained it. Not every detail, but enough. Enough to begin stitching something that had been torn for far too long. In the weeks that followed, we watched them talk every afternoon. They cried, laughed, sometimes. Teresa endured chemo with a strength none of us expected. Not because she believed it would save her, but because she wanted time, and to say the things she hadn't said in years. David came back every day. As a patient, but as a son. 22 days later, Teresa passed away, peacefully holding his hand, and we, the ones there with them, knew something had happened. Something more powerful than any treatment. Because sometimes medicine can't heal, but forgiveness can. There are pains you won't see on an X-ray, wounds that don't show up in blood tests, and patients who come not just to treat their bodies, but to close the chapters of their souls. Teresa didn't come looking for a cure. She came in search of redemption, and she found it. In the least expected place, between white coats, IV drips, and a voice coming from the room next door sometimes. We don't realize how powerful a voice is until it's the one we need to hear most. If you, or someone close to you, has ever experienced something like this, an unexpected reunion, a moment of forgiveness when it seemed too late, share it in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if this story moved you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the ones coming next. This channel is where we share what medical books often leave out: the human side of medicine. Thanks for watching. See you in the next story.